Hello and welcome to MouseKast, the podcast where the mind meets the magic. Hey, guess what? It's back. It's the second Tuesday. That means it's open mic night. So that's you. That's right. You. Yeah, you. And you too. Yeah, even you, Matt, and you, Megan. You all get to talk about what's going on tonight. So be sure to pop into the chat all your thoughts, your comments. What do you want to talk about on open mic night? And, you know, for Matt and for me in Southwest Virginia, there's been something going on that, we're not quite ready for.
Do not, that four-letter S word is not to cross your lips.
It is. We'll call it the white stuff that has started to make its way for some of us on the East Coast, and not a ton. For folks in Chicago, you got a lot of it, and I'm sorry. Early start to winter for you guys, but Megan, it's coming your way at some point. And Florida apparently is dealing with some cold weather.
No. We don't do that stuff down here. Don't send that my way.
Well, you know.
We have an alcohol-free zone down here in Texas.
Okay, well, we'll see. Folks, Halloween is in the rear view mirror. Thanksgiving is coming up. That's right. Wave goodbye to Halloween. We'll see it next year. The holiday season is upon us. And yes, that's right. It is time. Mickey's Not So Scared. Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party and so much more are underway right now. The parks are fully decked out in the holidays. If you have never been to Walt Disney World to see Christmas decorations, nobody, and I mean nobody, does Christmas like Disney. So if you're ever interested, let myself know, let Megan know. We'll help you out. But we thought we'd talk about a few notes tonight, and then see again. It's open mic night. You get to tell us what we want to talk about. So hey, Danny is here. Welcome, Danny. Good to have you here for open mic night. So Megan and I especially are kind of dealing with some sadness right now, Megan. And the sadness is, and of course my dog has to come in and drink right now. The sadness is that we are not on the Disney Destiny right now. If you have seen some of the posts that are coming out right now, the Disney Destiny looks absolutely unreal. Megan, what some of the things that you've seen about the Destiny that you love?
The Lion King restaurant.
Yeah.
So excited about that. The adults only lounges and bar areas look spectacular. So for anybody who thinks like, oh, Disney Cruise, no. Wait, like too many kids, too much kids. No.
Yeah.
Disney Cruises, all of them, not just the Destiny, but especially these newer, like the last 3 ships or so that have come out, they have amazing adults only spaces.
They really do.
I'm dying to go try out.
Yeah, I am too. I was on the Dream a couple of years ago, and some of the adult spaces on the Dream are just awesome. I mean, they're really, really spectacular. And I will say again, and I know that there's some reasons why not to do so, but I still say with the number of ships in the fleet now, me personally, I think it's time for Disney to offer some adult-only itineraries. Not necessarily the whole year for a particular ship, but do a couple of itineraries every quarter or something like that. Hey, Mark Jones is joining us. Welcome back, Mark. Welcome to Open Mic Night. And it is Open Mic Night. So guys, what do y'all want to talk about? So the Disney Destiny, it's looking fantastic. It's looking amazing. And you ought to go check it out soon. Hey, if you're heading to Walt Disney World this week, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is currently closed. Now, that's a good thing. You may wonder why I'm saying that. I think it's a good thing. If you're familiar with Remy's, you have to have 3D glasses to ride Remy's because it's a 3D animated films that are shown. Well, no longer. Right now, Disney is in the process of converting those 3D films back to 2D. So that means, the military discounts they announced today for Veterans Day, great discounts that are available, Mark. It was a good point to bring that up. And by the way, it is Veterans Day. So if you are a veteran, thank you so much for your service. We owe all that we are in this country to you. And so we here at MouseKast, thank you so much.
Including our own Hawk, who is not with us tonight.
Yes, Hawk, who is not with us tonight. Again, a thank you to Hawk and all of his service. He's taking a little time off here, and especially on this Veterans Day, so that he can enjoy Veterans Day and be enjoy all of that. So yeah, Mark, there was some military discounts, and again, anytime you're interested, be sure to let us know. We can help you out with all of that. But yeah, so Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is currently closed. It's expected to open Friday morning, and no more glasses. 2D. Yeah, Mark's exactly right. No 3D screens equals less protein spills, and you're exactly right. That's always was one of my hang-ups about Remy's, frankly, about Avatar. It's the same thing. Frankly, I would like to see them get rid of the 3D in Flight of Passage. I know some people will absolutely go bonkers about that. To me, it gets not completely nauseating, but it's disorienting. I like not having to have the 3D, to be honest. And so, what do you
think, and especially when it comes to Flight of Passage, I get why it's 3D, but I don't think it's necessary. It feels just there's so much you can do even in 2D there. But I'm with Chuck on this one. I'm really excited about Remy's being 2D. I can't ride Remy's because it makes me so nauseous.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. What do you think?
Can't do it.
It doesn't bother me. So I mean, great if it people get nauseous. I mean, it'll help the ride experience and stuff like that. But I'm indifferent.
All right, so I'm going to go one step further then on the 3D. Toy Story Mania. You pull 3D away from that. Does that change the experience for you?
No.
What do you think?
No.
I think that one's different for me. I like the 3D on that one. I like the effects there, which again, I think when compared to Flight of Passage just doesn't seem necessary. But right. I love the way it works in Toy Story. If anything makes me sick on Toy Story, it's just the massive spin.
Oh yeah, it's the whipping around, yeah, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of discounts, a new ticket offer has been announced by Disney this week for Disney Plus subscribers. Tom, who is joining us, welcome, Tom. Glad to have you. He says, yes, have to have 3D on Toy Story Mania. So this new ticket offer, again, it's only for Disney Plus subscribers, only, is coming up this spring. And welcome back the 3-day, 3-park ticket. Now, you may be going, wait a minute, aren't there 4 parks at Walt Disney World? And yes, you would be right. There are 4 parks at Walt Disney World. But this is a 3-day, 3-ticket park. And that means one park is not included. Megan, which one would that be?
It's Magic Kingdom, y'all. It's not Animal Kingdom. It's not Hollywood Studios. It's not whichever one you choose not to go to. It's Magic Kingdom. Universe? You cannot go to Magic Kingdom.
No, it's not Epic Universe either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's not Epic Universe. So yes, so just if you are interested in taking advantage of this new offer for Disney Plus subscribers, again, you must be a Disney Plus subscriber. It is a 3-day, 3-park ticket that's in effect starting this spring, but again, it does not include the Magic Kingdom. Yes, Tom. Also, speaking of Toy Story, the Toy Story 5 teaser trailer dropped earlier today, and it looks like maybe our Toy Story friends are going digital. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Hopefully it's a strong story. I'll put it at that. So again, if you're going to do this ticket offer, just remember Magic Kingdom is not included. Alrighty, and so the last bit of news that I was going to share, and I'm wondering how much of a talker this one will be. I'm rattling Pandora's box here. So discussions are still ongoing, but currently, if you like ESPN, if you like Disney, if you like FX, if you like Freeform, if you like Nat Geo, and about 10 other networks, and you have YouTube TV, ladies and gentlemen, you are screwed. Yes, there is no resolution in sight to the battle between YouTube TV and Disney. In fact, today, YouTube TV announced that they are giving $20 credits per customer per month for all this ongoing stuff that's happening. And so YouTube is losing money. We know Disney, by some reports, is losing $4, $5, $6 million a day or something like that. So nobody is winning in this little spat between the two. But it's driving me nuts. Mark says, I think they meaning Disney, are trying hard to push people to Hulu plus live TV. possibility of that. I'm on YouTube TV, and this has been a little frustrating for me as well. So, what do you guys all think? I don't know if any of you are affected by this like I am or not. It's driven me a little bit bonkers and bananas, I will tell you.
So I'm not. My dad is. He has YouTube TV, and he's only had it for about a month. He loves the fact that you can watch split screen on it. So it's college football season, and certainly come March Madness, you can watch 4 games at one time. I love that feature of it for him. As a parent of young kids, for those of you who don't have young kids, or maybe you don't have YouTube and so you don't realize, the Disney programming on YouTube TV is some of the very little to only young children TV offerings from YouTube TV. They don't have the Nickelodeon stations like Hulu does and some of the other carriers. So without Disney, parents with young kids who were watching, yikes.
Yeah.
That's not great.
Yeah. So, and we're not going to weigh in on the battle between the two about, who should win. I think we all should win, but that means
we never win. Haven't you realized it gets worse and worse, and whatever solution they have is probably not going to be good for us.
Yeah, it's not going to be good for anybody, and
not.
You can guarantee the prices, no matter what, are going to go up. That's cable. For those of us, I know Tom is in the TV industry. I used to be in the TV industry, and renegotiations happen all the time, and you have whoever the supplier is. In fact, Mark just said I read a great article about how the streaming services are pushing people back to piracy.
Oh,
and
piracy, the talk of the early 2000s.
That's right. Here we go. Macrovision is coming back. Maybe anybody remember old Macrovision? But this is sadly this is commonplace when it comes to renegotiations, and so everybody gnashes their teeth and looks mean and throws darts at each other, and then they finally come to some sort of agreement, and then it's kumbaya. And so we can only hope that Disney and YouTube will make nice and come to some sort of resolution. And so, until then, if you're a YouTube subscriber, there may be some options for you. So, especially when it comes to sports, obviously there's Disney Plus. You can get a fair amount of the Disney content that you may be missing through that would have been on YouTube TV. You get it on Disney Plus and Hulu. Granted, you're not getting it day of, you're beginning it, next day or a couple days later. But as far as ESPN goes, supposedly, I've been doing a little bit of checking on this, obviously. There is something called, I think it's ESPN Ultimate or something along those lines that has been offered recently to enhance your ESPN Plus content, that you can get all of ESPN, everything. Currently, if you have ESPN Plus, just ESPN Plus, it does not include the broadcast networks, the ones that are on the broadcast channels, ESPN, The Deuce, 3, ESPNU, ACC Network, or Big Ten Network, whatever, SEC Network, all that kind of stuff. So ESPN Ultimate, I think, would give you all of that. And then, you can decide whether or not you want to actually have a streaming service or not. So there are some options out there for you guys to think about.
Can I throw out another one?
Go ahead.
If you're waiting while they negotiate to figure out what you want to do next, forget all of them and go support your local sports bar. Don't go to Buffalo Wild Wings. Don't go to a chain. But go to the local sports bar and have them tune their channel, because they are paying for all of the channels. And go watch your game somewhere else and have some decent food at the same time. Support
That's
local.
Right.
Tell the big guys just, you're out until they figure this out.
And I'll tell you, I'll go one step better. Friday is coming up. Mark says he has Hulu with the live TV option bundled with Disney Plus, and he gets everything. It costs a fortune, but he has it all. And there you go. So, that is, and I think that's part of the issue that we all are doing, is that, it all just costs so much. But on top of that, remember, Friday football is still around. Go see a local high school football game. Go see it in person. Go support, local sports. And again, high school sports are basketball's coming up soon.
Just remember that if you live in Texas, you might need tickets ahead of time, and some of them are sold out, because I can't get tickets to my local high school game because they're sold out months in advance. Texas is weird, y'all. I grew up in the Midwest. It's like a whole other world down here. I don't know. This football stuff is just crazy. crazy.
Yeah, Texas. There's football, high school football, and then there's Texas high school football. Speaking of ESPN, you can watch some Texas high school football on ESPN, and I kid you not, they are covering it. So, and Tom says you should just all stay at home 24/7 and watch your local TV station. Says Tom, who represents a certain network that we greatly appreciate. Shout out to WFXR Fox 2127 in Roanoke, Virginia. So, huge shout out to our friends over there. So, so what else do you guys all want to talk about? So again, this is open mic night. Remember, this is you who gets to share and talk about what's going on. What topics do you guys want to talk about and bring up tonight? Going back to the Disney Destiny, the interactivity. Matt, have you seen some of the posts talking about the Disney Destiny? I mean, there's such a higher level of interactivity now that is coming up, and that each of these spaces that they're putting onto these ships, look at what's in the treasure with the Haunted Mansion bar or the Pirates bar and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just interactivity is off the hook.
It makes me wonder a little bit about the older ships and how either they may eventually be updated to have some of these technologies, or if there might be marketing coming of do a throwback cruise when there wasn't as much technology, because otherwise I feel like if Disney doesn't do something for some of these older ships, like for example, the Disney Magic sails out of Galveston, Texas. I know a lot of people who sail out of Galveston. I have yet to do it. I always hop on a plane and go to Florida and sail out, but I should stop doing that. Or I've gone to New Orleans. I've sailed out of there again on the Magic.
I have to admit, the Royal Caribbean port out of Galveston is really, really nice. It's a brand new port. They opened it up just a couple of years ago.
It is really nice. But coming out of Galveston, you don't have the options of the Wish or these newer ships that have more of that technology. And so, will Disney shift, what ships are offered outside of Florida for sailings, out of New Orleans, out of Texas? Will they upgrade the ships? Is there a marketing campaign coming for the differentiation of these two? But, the older ships are just as good. And, they have all these, I love the Magic. There's a lot of Marvel pieces in it. Marvel Day at Sea happens on the Magic. So I love it, but it's certainly, there's a distinct difference between getting on one of the older ships in the fleet and one of these newer ones that have debuted in the last few years.
Well, and this is where I'm going to go back to it again. This is for the older ships. I think that they're perfectly positioned to do adult only cruises. Perfectly positioned for that. So Matt, I know you're not a huge cruise person, but is that something if Disney said, hey, we're going to take the Magic, this is the very, very first ship. It's a smaller ship, folks. So
which I like.
Yeah, I mean, it's maybe 2/3 ish the size of the current Treasure and Destiny and all that.
Yeah.
So Mark Jones just said, I just heard we have reservations for both Beacon Barrel and GO82 for my January trip. What are your thoughts on premium lounges and alcohol in the MK? It's been discussed before. Yeah, so yeah, and then he added on top of that, but now that they have been open for a while, have opinions changed? It's interesting because the Magic Kingdom was the last holdout. Walt was a firm believer that alcohol did not belong in Disneyland, and of course the Magic Kingdom by extension. Yeah, and so, but okay, times are changing. I get it. What I'm hopeful for is that not if it's done. I mean, it's here, obviously. Will it be contained? What we don't want. Granted, the Beacon Barrel is in a pirates area, and drunken pirates and fights, think all the Tortuga scenes and all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I mean, come on. But, in all reality, is it going to be contained and so that things don't get out of hand? Because that's not the image that any theme park wants, but certainly not the Magic Kingdom. So, I don't know. What do you guys... I mean, I'm interested to see it. I still am very surprised that the Beacon Barrel is where it is. We just talked about that on last week's episode, because you've got, the Tortuga Tavern, which still sits empty. To me, I thought it would have been perfect for Beacon Barrel there, but no, it's across the way that they took up some space out of the Pirates post-show gift shop area. So
I think, now that it's been open, I haven't seen too much about anything getting out of control. So I don't know, because it's one place. Right now, if they built, a world showcase of bars around the Magic Kingdom, then we'd have a problem like we do in Epcot, right? But I think my biggest disappointment on this so far is just that, and I have not been there yet, but that the reviews aren't great. They're okay, they're mixed, but it doesn't feel like it's as big of a success as it should have been, and I think that disappoints me. That I really, if you're gonna debut alcohol in the Magic Kingdom, give me Oga. Well, and even Oga, there were complaints about that and certain things about the food and whatnot. And they recently changed that, but I just think that I wanted more. I wanted more people to like it right out of the gate to kind of justify it being there, and it doesn't sound like it's an overwhelming popular spot. That's my disappointment in this so far, I think.
Yeah, Matt, what do you think? Because it's something interesting, but at the same time, you look at. In fact, here we'll take a look here. Let's see if I can share screen here.
And while Chuck's doing that, Mark says the reviews are okay, but it is so expensive. And I think that's one of the things
Yeah, Mark does say that right here. Yeah,
seems to be a complaint about. Yes, across Disney, but especially in Magic Kingdom, where it's like they throw all the theming at you and the experience. And they wanted you to fall in love with that, and you wouldn't notice how much they were charging you. And it just doesn't.
Whoops, too big of a zoom. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so like for instance, here we go. In speaking to Mark's comment, that you're looking island provisions, and I'll see if I can zoom in just a little. Here we go. This is chips and dip. It's chips and dip, $16. I mean, wow. You've got some of the other interesting things. I mean, octopus tentacles. Essentially that's kind of a version of takoyaki, which is a Japanese thing with octopus. But $18. And then you look at some of the drinks.
The treasure trove doesn't have alcohol in it, and it's over $13.
Right, that right there, and I'm zoomed in so you guys can see it. That's a non-alcoholic drink, and it's $13.75. These are prices that I would expect to see on a cruise ship, frankly. But you have got, some of these drinks that, I mean, they're signature drinks. I get you, but yeah, they're kind of high. But again, location. You're getting to do something that
It's the only place in all of Magic Kingdom you can get alcohol.
So it is. So location.
Drinks you can get in Epcot. You got $18 to $20 drinks.
Yeah, and so share out some other thoughts. Go ahead, Matt.
It's like going to a sporting event. People are going to pay for beer prices no matter what they are.
This is very true.
$20 a beer, and people are going to pay for it. Hand over fist. Same thing. You're at Magic Kingdom, and now that they offer alcohol, hey, I'm going to do it just because, and they know people will pay the price for A, the experience, and B, because it's just the new thing to do at Disney World. So it's kind of, I hate to kind of say kind of smart on Disney's point. I know it seems pricey to like average people, but at the same time, if Disney knows people are going to pay it, then why not make it that price point?
Yeah, well, and so here is Mark had also asked about Geo82, and so this is Geo82. Geo82, to me, in some respects, it's a little bit different because it is kind of billing itself as a high-end experience. And so you kind of go into it knowing that it's going to be high-end, or at least maybe that's how I'm kind of interpreting it. And so, again, you do have some pretty, in fact, most of the drinks are more expensive. Yeah. I mean, $26 for a martini, a caramelized leek martini. I'm no, expert drinker or anything like that. You have, the select bourbon flight where you've got, again, Woodford Reserve, Private Barrel, Blanton's, Stag. I have heard some of these these are nice bourbons. I mean, these are not your cheap bourbons. These are big deals. So, they do have a lot of nice bits. And then the interesting thing about it are these, they're small bites that they have. Jumbo lump crab gâteau. So, this is, again, I think this is an area where you can go in and you're going to get kind of high dining in a lounge, almost like think California Grill lounge version kind of concept. So I don't know. I'm more comfortable with it at GO82 than I am Beacon Barrel. I'm not sure why I'm more comfortable with it at GO82 than Beacon Barrel. I don't know. It's just, it feels like to me it's okay. A little bit more okay at GO82 than it is Beacon Barrel, but
I don't think I'm ever going to be okay paying $25 for a drink.
It's not something you're going to see me do, no.
And that's for one drink, yeah.
Yeah. But, at the same time, again, it's all about the experience. Now, by comparison, you look at another lounge that we have been talking about for a while. Here is Space 220. And, we'll zoom in. There we go. Well, you're looking at the spirits there. They do have, they're up there a little bit, but, again, $20 is the most expensive. Mm-hmm. That one as well. I think that was similar to Beacon Barrel was $20. So, again, they're in the same vein.
I would also argue that Space 220 is just completely overrated. So
it's. I will say that the lounge. I agree with you. Space 220 is overrated for the restaurant portion. I think the lounge portion is not bad, but again, it's because you're just going up there for the lounge. You're in there for you're in there for 30 minutes to sit down and have maybe a small bite and a drink, and then you're out. And so you get the experience, but it's not. You're not having to invest so much time and certainly not as much money because they're incredibly. The cost of dining to do the prefix is pretty expensive. Again, Matt, I don't think you've ever been interested in it.
No.
Yeah.
Not right now. Anyway.
So, it's interesting.
When I think about lounges at Disney that I enjoy going to, Nomad Lounge is one of my favorites over in Animal Kingdom. Ale and Compass at Yacht and Beach Club is great to go. And the service is bad enough over here that I have actually walked out of this place twice now. But Enchanted Rose at Grand Floridian is one of my favorites for ambiance. They have really good food. They have good drinks. But I mean, I've been in there like 4 or 5 times, and at least I can think of two times where we just got up and left without actually getting our stuff because the service was so bad, which is really un-Disney-like and really strange. But
yeah, so interestingly, and this is kind of a fun discussion, Mark, I'm glad you brought this up because I haven't really done this before. So comparing the different lounges, this is Oga's. Well, here we go. I mean, actually, these are closer.
These have gone up.
Yeah, they have. This is closer to GO 82 prices because you're looking at, Fuzzy Tauntaun's $20 now. The Jedi Mind Trick
$21. I don't think I paid that the last time I was in there.
Yeah, I don't recall that. So, and that's another piece that we're also seeing, that was coming out, I guess, last month that we saw, prices, not only ticket prices go up, but also, restaurant and clearly lounge prices also all went up. So, we're seeing those as well, that, if you're going to have the Fuzzy Tauntaun, as I said, is fun, just be mindful, be mindful of that foam because it's going to get you. It will get you. So, don't forget, it is open mic night. So if you have a topic you want to talk about, pop it in the chat and we'll get going and we'll talk about it. But, to the point though, that we are seeing these lounge prices kind of going up a little bit here. And that's a bit surprising. Let's see, what was the other one lounge that you said you liked a lot?
Nomad over in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, Nomad over at Animal Kingdom. We'll sneak over there and see if we can find Nomad real quickly.
And when we're talking about the lounges and things, a lot of these things are not like Oga's is one of them. Geo 82 is one. I'm assuming Beacon Barrel is as well. They're not included on the dining plan. What I would love to see Disney do with the dining plan is break out the alcohol that they include in there to where you just have alcohol credits that you could use at the bars and lounges, that you could use at the grab and go places around Epcot, that they aren't tied to your sit down meal. Because I think a lot of people who drink at Disney, and maybe they do this on purpose because they know that a lot of people drink at those places at Disney and they don't want alcohol credits floating around out there. But I feel like as somebody who's done the dining plan, I do a much better job of using it and feeling stronger about it if I could go into the lounges and use alcohol credits as opposed to those being tied to me needing to sit down and eat a meal. Now, forcing me to eat while drinking is probably a good idea as I'm going to go then wander out in the hot sun. But still, I'd like to see alcohol credits as opposed to tied to my meals. These
Yeah, I
prices
kind of
look
like that.
better to me.
Yeah, and this is Nomad, and so you can see these are a little bit better
Yep, a lot
right
of
here.
1650s here.
Yeah, so they're a little bit better. Mark also asks, what about the new and improved Grand Floridian lobby? And so we have a new. Speaking of, there's another new area that's been included into the lobby, and so I don't know. We'll see. It's different. It changes the one thing I liked about the lobby outside of course the holidays when you had the gingerbread house is that it did have kind of a nice symmetry and all that, but that's definitely out now. And so what do you guys think?
I'm not sure about the bar that they've like. I need to see a little bit more. I haven't seen very much on that other than some close-up pictures that make it kind of hard to tell exactly what the lobby itself looks like. I will say the new carpeting and the new colors that they've got, I absolutely love. They're warmer, they're a little bit richer, and I love the way it kind of warms up that entire space. So I'm 2 thumbs up on the colors.
Yeah. So here from our friends at Disney Food Blog, they shared a quick picture of the lounge, and so I think this is the new lobby. Is that it? Yeah, this is the new lobby right here, and so it's just different. The color scheme is a little bit greener. Looks like.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's like a mustard green. Just, I mean, the pictures probably don't do it justice compared to what it would be like.
I was gonna say I don't like
there.
this picture. It seems greener than some of the other ones.
Right. I will look and see if I see another version of it out there somewhere, but.
But I think that, for people who visit the Grand Floridian, because Grand Floridian is one of those places that people get like they're loyal to that specific resort. For those loyalists, I think this is going to be a really hard change. I do because people are, they love the Grand Floridian for what it was and what it looked like and what it felt like when you walked in there. That's changing. And I think that's, like everything at Disney. Something at Disney changes and people just get in an uproar. And I feel like for that niche audience, they're gonna have a problem with, this is a new, definitely a new era, we'll say for Grand Floridian.
Yeah, and speaking of lounges, I mean, you have again, this is called the Perch right here, and it's going to be a small, kind of little lobby style bar. I mean, not a full bar or anything like that, but it does. It gives folks more reason to just hang out in the lobby, as opposed to just, I'm in the lobby waiting for my room to be ready, or I'm waiting for a restaurant ADR to come up or something like that. This does give a little bit more reason to go resort hopping. Almost as you're starting to see these come more and more that, you have the drink around the world. This is the drink around the monorail resorts kind of thing like that, where you can kind of start doing a loop around the monorail resorts because you've got different options there. So it'll be interesting to see how this space works out long run, and if that creates any issues when it comes to people hanging in the lobby or not. I mean, I'm okay with it. I don't have a huge issue with it.
So my question is, because I haven't seen anything on this, I'm assuming that next year they are bringing back the gingerbread house, that we're going to have some of the displays and things.
I'm hoping so.
That's what my concern is, because you have a very high crowd level in that lobby during the holiday season. You add a bar in there, and it's just suddenly like that much crazier. Lines, to get up to that bar are going to be so many people deep, people waiting in to see. That's where I'm maybe a little apprehensive, I guess, about the new offering here, because sometimes there are certain peaks of season where the crowded Grand Floridian in the lobby, because not only the guests staying there, but the guests visiting for one reason or another, they're already there. You add in the bar section, what does that look like? I'll be interested to see what that looks like.
Yeah, it could be kind of interesting. In fact, let's see here. We'll see if I can isolate this image for you. This is from what website? This, give credit to DVC Fan. You can see where the outline is in this white right here. That's how big this bar area is going to be, and that's taking up a good amount of real estate. And the usually the gingerbread house is down here, where from this camera vantage point would be down under the camera and to the right. So, I'm hopeful that it's going to not impact the gingerbread house, but we'll see. So because I think the gingerbread house at Grand Floridian is one of the top holiday things to do at any resort around. I love the gingerbread displays on all the resorts. But then, and Mark says, "Do you know how late the lounge stays open?" We don't know yet, because they're still working on it right now. And I'm with you. The noise issue could be a factor, because again, staying in the main building, those are your club level rooms. These are your high dollar suites that are there at the Grand Floridian, and if they've got ambient noise, at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, that could be interesting. Mark again says, as much as people pay for the rooms at Grand Floridian, you'll want to deal with the noisy drunks. Exactly. So, it will be interesting to see how they want to address, or how Disney will try to address that particular aspect of the lounges. And that kind of brings up the discussion about lounges just in general. We've had lounges in other places. We've had Nomad Lounge over at Animal Kingdom. We've had the Tune-In Lounge over at Hollywood Studio. We've had, obviously, plenty of alcohol, lots of alcohol over in Epcot. And I don't know that alcohol has been too big a problem, with the exception of probably World Showcase at Epcot. And there, I think it's getting, again, it's drink around the world. So it's kind of become that, we're going to try to see if we can stumble our way around the world. We're fine in either Mexico or Canada, whichever side we start in. And then will we make it all the way around before we're, falling down drunk?
Or will you climb into the fountain in France and take a seat?
Yeah, which has unfortunately happened more than once. So, those are the type of things that I think, if we're going to get to anything that we need to kind of start to curb, it might be that, which is, trying to, the drink around the world and everything like that. At least at the lounges, there's a little bit more control, because, they can cut you off and all that kind of thing. But drinking around the world is probably my biggest concern, because it makes, especially for Food and Wine, it makes weekends at Food and Wine sometimes just, just don't do it. Mm-hmm. Because they're just so hammered. Now, Matt, you've been down, during either Food and Wine or Flower and Garden, where you've seen it too. And they're just, folks are out there and they're just going crazy.
We'll pick it. We'll go we'll avoid it on weekends. We'll go during the week when it's a little less busy during those times, because avoid Magic Kingdom and avoid Epcot during festival season during the weekends. It's kind of usually our game plan. We'll go hit Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, even spend some time at a resort for a little while with the kids. Mm-hmm. So it can be fun if you want to people watch for a while. Just you can grab a drink yourself and just watch everybody else. And
you'll see some interesting characters. Me personally, I'll drink a little bit around the world. I want to eat around the world, because all the little kiosks and everything like that for Food and Wine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm all about eating around the world. But that's a whole different ball game. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with lounges and alcohol. What's next? And that's kind of what, I don't want to say worries me, but it does kind of make me wonder, what's next. and where is next. If the Beacon Barrel really gets popular. Oh no, Mark, you're exactly right. Mark says, I think drinking around the world is too much of a cash cow for Disney to try and reduce it. I get it. I just hope that my hope would be some folks to just try and get it under control to the point where it's not stumbling drunk. There's a happy medium there, and I'm hoping that maybe they can figure that out. But where would the next lounge be at the Magic Kingdom? Because I can see that coming. You've got
one
one
of those spaces we talked about last week.
Right, and it could be, and that's including some of the ones that were already there. But this is where I go back to, take the Space 220 concept, and frankly, I think it needs to be in Tomorrowland more than it needs to be in Mission Space. But you could.
I'm guessing Villains Land will have something.
I would suspect Villains Land will have something. Again, I think it was your idea many moons ago, talking about Ursula's potions. Love it. I mean, we were talking about it as like a candy star, but I mean, Mark says, Small World Lounge, you can you can drink to try to get the song out of your
Never
head.
gonna work. Instead, what you'll have is a whole bunch of drunk people singing
it.
that song at the
Yes,
top
you
of
will.
their lungs.
Yeah. Mark, that's
Climbing out of the
not
boats.
a good idea, buddy. Not a good idea. So
Maybe that's the only way to enjoy that song is if you are drunk.
yeah, well, we'll see. But I could see something over in Tomorrowland, as possibly, and again, also Villains Land. Again, that the idea of the potions shop could be really fascinating. With Ursula's Potions Lounge, and yeah, it might be a great lounge over there, and especially if obviously it'll be an adult lounge, but you could really have some fun with a lounge like that. Think about the drinks that you do over there.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be $30 and $40 a piece, but
people will pay for it,
and people will pay for it. They will pay for it, especially if it comes with an exclusive tiki mug or something like that. So, it's a lot of fun. The lounges can be great. The lounges can be very entertaining. Just folks, please be responsible. That's all we ask over here at MouseKast. Let everybody enjoy the magic. Not don't make it rougher. Mark says a saloon at the exit of Country Bears, maybe a mile-long bar. That could be interesting. What other lounges would we do? If you're going to do another lounge over in Hollywood Studios, you could do a Toy Story style lounge.
I don't know if I can
Stuff
mix
in
the idea
Hollywood
of
Studios.
toys and alcohol. I don't know if I can make all that
I'm sitting there trying to think of where would you've got one over in Galaxy's Edge already.
You could put one in the new Monsters.
Yeah, that would work. Yeah, Monsters Inc. Yeah, you could do one even tie it to the new restaurant that's going to be over there, and so that could and I wouldn't be surprised if there is going to be a lounge with Harryhausen's.
I'd like to see some sort of a lounge when they do the Indiana Jones ride in Animal Kingdom. I love Jock Lindsay's at Disney Springs.
Yeah.
I love that Indiana Jones theming. I'm hoping that more than just because we're supposed to get more than just a ride. I think we're supposed to get a little bit more just Indiana Jones period in the Animal Kingdom. So I'd love to see like a lounge. Indiana Jones. Yeah, those movies may be rated PG, but that was a PG of a long time ago. There's stuff in those movies. Those are not children's movies.
Yeah,
ripping out hearts and things.
I was about to say Temple of Doom. We're talking about you. And to be honest, that's an easy lift because you just take Jock Lindsay's and just bring it over. I mean, that's a super easy lift. Mark says an Indiana Jones themed lounge would be amazing. And I think we agree that would be fantastic. And again, that brings the ability to have some fun with it, with again some themed drinks and everything like that. I'd also want to make sure you have some really good tapas or small plates or something like that. It needs to have some good food to go with it so that it's a true kind of like a sit down experience. Maybe not a full meal. I mean, it's not meant to be, an actual like dining experience, but
with Indiana Jones specifically, because he traveled to all sorts of different places in his movies, it'd be great to do like almost like a tapas around the world kind of thing where you could taste things from the different places that are seen in all, how many movies are there now? 5 movies? At least the first 3.
Right. Yeah, you could do almost like not an Indies cookbook, but Indies like memoir notes or whatever. These were some of the great things that I enjoyed in my travels. Mark says, I think Disney are missing an opportunity for a very interesting lounge at AKM Pandora. They could have a lot of fun there, and I agree. That actually could be very interesting because now you're getting to something very, very different. I mean, again, back to almost like an Oga's. I mean, you're just making everything up, and you could really come up with some interesting and different concoctions related to Pandora. So, Mark, that's a good point that there could be some very interesting opportunities for a lounge there. And I think that also gets back to some of the things that Pandora is maybe struggling with is that food element. They have a Sotuli canteen down there. It's a quick service, but it's okay.
Oh, really? It's my favorite quick service in all
You
the
like
property. It's my favorite place.
It's really good.
Sotuli.
Yeah, but it's still quick service. But it's still quick service.
It is. It's still quick service.
It's still quick service.
Really good quick service.
Yeah, I would like to see maybe again the same idea of doing some small plates or even frankly, I'll go one further. It needs a lounge, but it also needs a full service restaurant down there. AK needs some more sit downs.
And
they really do.
Ditch Navi River Journey. Knock the whole thing out. You can keep your singing shaman lady, whatever that thing is. Put it in the restaurant. Put it in, whatever. Just take out that ride. That ride.
Yeah, Tom says, put a lounge at the entrance of Mission Space. Hey, Tom. He's a little late to the game on this. Tom.
Oh, hey, Mark gets it. He says, Chuck, you gotta shut your mouth. Sotuli is one of the best places to eat at Disney, even if it's not.
I'm not dissing it. Mark's going to give me all kinds of grief for this tomorrow. I'm not dissing. I'm just saying, but it's still just quick service though. That's the thing we need. I think in Animal Kingdom, you do need another sit-down dining 100%. Restaurant. And I think maybe that's the place to do a lounge plus, where it is, you really have a good drink menu with a good dining menu. Maybe it's not full entrees and everything like there. Navi could be drained and you could put the lounge in there. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Or better yet, I'll go one better. Rework Navi and let the restaurant be around it. Okay.
Well, I thought you were going to say they should hand us drinks as we get in the boat. That would
well, look. At least then, if you built the restaurant sort of around Navi River Journey, the servers could actually tell the story that's not evident right now.
I was going to say, so somebody would understand it.
Exactly, and they could tell the story that's not currently there. Now, but that could be another. Think one of the benefits over in Disneyland. You have Pirates of the Caribbean, and you have a restaurant right there that is incorporated into the opening of. Mark says there's a story in Navi. Yeah, that's kind of the point. No, there isn't one. But you have that, that you can put all of that together. Similar thing over in Epcot. You have the Hacienda. I'm sorry, the restaurant over in the Mexico Pavilion as well. San Angel Inn. Yeah, sorry, the San Angel, and again the restaurant Ground Fiesta Tour is included and incorporated in that. Navi, you could do the same thing, and maybe that it would be a way to, frankly, that might help that attraction to try to get a story into it, because it's a challenge right now with Navi River Journey that we don't have a story. It's a great attraction from a visual and technological perspective. The animatronic at the very end is unreal and about as lifelike as you could. Well, yes, when it's working, assuming it's working. Then, of course, we're talking. It's not as bad as the Yeti. Yeti, we still would love to see you one day.
The Yeti over in Everest?
Yeti, we'd love to see you one day. Well, the Yeti is a unique challenge. For those of you who may not know, it was a great documentary that Disney put out way back 2005 when they first did the Yeti. To build that, the Yeti. The entire Expedition Everest has its own foundation. There's 3 structural systems sitting in that mountain. The first structural system is holding the mountain up itself, and it must be absolutely rigid or else the whole thing's coming crumbling down. The second structural system is the roller coaster, and that must be flexible or else it's just going to tear itself apart, so it has to bend and flex. The third foundation is the Yeti itself because it has so much force, and all three are intertwined into each other. So the only way that they could, as I understand it, the only way they could fix the Yeti is they have to take the mountain halfway apart, just so they can get to the foundation.
Well, first of all, nothing about what just came out of your mouth made Matt and me more likely to ride that ride like ever, because it sounds like the whole thing's just going to come crashing down at any moment.
It's not. It's just that they can't fix the Yeti because they can't get to the foundation.
And actually, Joe Rohde actually answered this, I think on like back in the day when it was Twitter, it's a couple of years, 2-3 years ago now. Somebody asked and he finally said, look, it's just never going to happen. It's cost prohibitive to try to actually fix it. It's just, and he just flat out said, Disney will never fix it. They can't.
No, and that's why, because they would have to take the mountain halfway apart, and then fix it, and then put it back together. I mean, you're talking something that would take years to do. So, unfortunately, Disco Yeti, as Mark Jones says, is pretty much all we're going to have for now. So, yeah, we'll see. So, it's been a fun night. Hey, guys, this has been Open Mic Night. We do this live every second Tuesday of the month right here on MouseKast, and we're live every Tuesday night here on MouseKast. Coming up next week, we've got another great topic coming up. Hey, Matt, it's time for Matt's Musings. What has Matt got percolating in his little head over there? Oh, I can already see some interesting ideas
Rocks,
twitching.
Twigs. That's about it at this point.
So Matt's Musings coming up next week for our third Tuesday of the month. And then in 2 weeks, folks, we want you share it out. We have a really, really special episode of MouseKast coming up the fourth Tuesday of the month. It's game night. Well, what's special about that? We do that every fourth Tuesday of the month. But this is no regular game night. This is MouseKast episode 100 right there. Episode 100 of MouseKast coming up in 2 weeks at the end of the month here in November. Stick around because we're gonna celebrate 100 episodes of MouseKast, and you never know what may happen. So we're gonna have a great time with that. So be sure to join us here on MouseKast, on our Facebook channel, on our YouTube channel. And we want to thank you so much for being with us. This is MouseKast. It's the podcast where the mind meets the magic. And so until next time, we'll see ya.
Thank you for listening to MouseKast. We appreciate the time you share with us. And tonight was a very fun show. And joining us is a must. This is where the mind meets the magic. We dive a little deeper every time. Theme parks, cruise